So here's part two of this critique of the Bin Laden video, the obvious fake. So it continues. Katz and her organization called Psy-ops have many critics. And it's possible that her immersion in the world of terrorism has removed whatever skepticism or doubts she may have had. Much as Al Jazeera underplays terrorist threats, the Site Institutes at times completely overhypes them. Michael Scheuer, the former head of the CIA's Bin Laden unit, says. More fundamentally, and I think this is important to understand and basically a crucial paragraph in this whole article, more fundamentally, some people involved in counterterrorism do not think that a private group with limited resources can do as good of a job or as prudent of a job as government agencies can. That remains to be seen, of course. But intelligence analysis is a set of skills that you learn, not just something that anybody can walk in off the street and pick up. Stephen Aftergood, who monitors the intelligence community for the Federation of American Scientists, told me. Well, he didn't tell me, he told this to the reporter who was writing the article. Of course, I'm quoting here. Again, this is an article that was published in the New Yorker. The author of that article is Benjamin Wallace Wells, and it was published in the New Yorker in 2006. And it dealt specifically with the investigative work, supposed investigative work of this organization called SITE, S-I-T-E. It continues that a 2004 audit showed that the FBI alone had thousands of hours of untranslated transcripts. Indeed, it also showed that Katz has received outsourcing contracts from our government. The article continues. The title of the article, by the way, was called Private Jihad. In March, I visited Katz at her office. This is the reporter talking, Benjamin. On the 7th floor of an old building in a northeastern city that she refuses to allow reporters to identify in print. She told me to take a train to the city's main terminal and then call the office for further directions. By the time I got to Site's locked door, which had a black security camera and a plaque bearing the name of a non-existent business, I half expected to walk into a center full of high-tech equipment with flashing maps and screens. What I found instead was that the office looked more like a college newspaper room. This is quite something. So, essentially, it's probably some sort of a black op by the FBI, CIA, whatever. It's just the usual stuff. And at the site office, Katz showed me some suicide bombing videos from Iraq. They're often 5 or 10 minutes long, overlaid with religious chanting. In one video, a middle-aged Iraqi doctor straps on a suicide vest. In Israel, they always told you that the profile of a suicide bomber was someone young, without family, from the lowest economic level. But what we see over here, well, it's just the opposite, Katz said. What makes Rita Katz and her background is very unique. Peter Probst, a terrorism consultant and retired CIA officer who works with Katz, told me, because of what she's been through, she understood the entire threat much earlier than any of us. Now, of course, here comes some more information. Katz was born in Basra, Iraq in 1963, one of four children of a wealthy Jewish businessman. In 1968, in the wake of the Six-Day War, the Ba'ath government, with Saddam Hussein as its head of security, encouraged attacks against Iraqi Jews. Some Jews from prominent families were arrested and charged with spying for Israel, among them Katz's father. After he was imprisoned, his wife and children were transported to Baghdad and kept under house arrest in a stone hut. Katz's father was convicted in a military tribunal and executed in 1969 in a public Baghdad square. Katz at the time was 6 years old. After the family had been living in the hut for months, Katz's mother drugged the guards and escaped with the children. She got the family first to the Iranian border and then to Israel. They settled in a small seaside town. Katz eventually did her military service after high school. And studied politics and history at the University of Tel Aviv. She married a medical student, went into business with her mother, manufacturing clothes, and in 1997, Katz's husband won a fellowship to do research, medical research, at the National Institutes of Health, and they moved to Washington, D.C. The particulars of her biography, her father's execution, her escape from Iraq, and her education in Israel give Katz, in the eyes of some of the people in the counterterrorism community, a kind of bionic character, as if she had been designed to hunt down terrorists. It continues. I think this is going to be a three-parter. I'm sorry, it's just so long, but I don't want the upload to go wrong. So there's going to be 3 parts to this. Sorry.